Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Yosh. You already knew that because you guys are my subscribers. What's up, sub fam? Good to have you here. I hope you guys are staying at home and staying safe and doing the right thing during this pandemic. It's serious. Just listen to the instructions. I know I'm an extrovert and I'm losing my mind, but we've got to do the right thing, okay? We've got to do the right thing because the planet's gonna find our way onto the other side of this. We are gonna make it through to the other side of this, and we've got to help as many others get to the other side of this. So, do that. I'm gonna mute my phone as well because there's so many people talking. Right, so, last week, I am 1 week into, last week, I started a course with Yale that talks about the science of well-being, and it's done by Professor Laurie Santos, who is a psychologist in the University of Yale, and she basically asks a simple question. You know, can you measure your happiness and can you improve it? So I want to figure that one out for myself, and because the course was free, I signed up and I posted about it last week. And this week, I'm gonna give you an update on week 1 and what I learned in this. Right, so week 1 talks about 3 things. Oh, it talks about one important thing and then does 2 important things, gives you 2 bits more information that you need to sort of go through the rest of the steps, right? So the first thing that Dr. Laurie talks about, I don't know why I keep calling her Dr. Laurie, I'm pretty sure it's Professor Laurie, but anyway. Professor Laurie talks about what is called the G.I. Joe fallacy. And I don't know how many of you have watched G.I. Joe, but I freaking grew up with G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe is the best thing ever. I don't know if I can insert a GIF here, but no, knowing is half the battle. Knowing is half the problem. That was always the PSA at the end of a G.I. Joe episode. So he was this action hero cartoon that always gave a PSA to all the kids at the end of the show. And once you watch that PSA, there's this thing that says, knowing is half the battle. Not the more you know one, but you know what I'm talking about. You've seen that GIF, you've seen the memes, that one. Anyway, knowing is half the battle is the starting point of the G.I. Joe fallacy, which means that knowing what you're doing wrong or what you're doing incorrectly or why you aren't happy doesn't necessarily give you the tools for you to make a difference. You know, for example, if you say knowing is half the battle and to cross the road, you know that you have to look both ways, that doesn't necessarily stop you from getting into an accident or a collision with a car. It's also knowing the fact that you are looking for cars and also actively doing so throughout the process that helps you get across to the other side. It's not just about knowing, it's also about being able to action that. And I think that's what Dr. Laurie was talking about. Professor Laurie was talking about, I will get it one day. I will get it by week 2. Oh, I mean, wait, week 3. Whatever it is. Right, so that was the main premise of week 1. That was a bit of information that she was talking about, and during week 1, you get one of these. I printed out my handbook, which you have to do all sorts of little activities to help you. So week 1 was supposed to be measure my own happiness, and I've done all of this, and I will share all this information with you guys. So number 1 is measuring your happiness. So Dr. Laurie has, I don't know why I keep saying Professor Laurie, Jesus. Ugh. Anyway, Professor Laurie has put down 3 tools that you can use to, first of all, figure out your personality and figure out your strengths, and then figure out how happy you are currently while you're doing it. And the trick is that you keep track of why you're doing this, while you're doing this course, and that way you can see if any of this stuff improves your happiness rating. So, in week 1, I took my scores, I did my tests on the 30th of the 3rd, and my PERMA score rating. So PERMA is a profiler that helps you figure out what your happiness rating is out of 10 based on positive emotions, engagement, relationships, meaning, accomplishment, health, negative emotions, loneliness, and an overall well-being score. So in this instance, I scored a 5.69 on the PERMA score, Perma Profiler. And there's another one similar to that. That one rates you from 1 to 5, and that one's called the Authentic Happiness Scale, and I rated a 2.29 on that scale. So I'm not very happy with myself, which is quite quite revealing. I thought I was fine. God damn it. Anyway, so that was really insightful for me because I thought I was doing fine. Like, these scores will most definitely be skewed by the fact that, I don't know, there's a global pandemic going on. Like, yeah, it's fair that it's lower than usual. So it's not such a bad thing, but I don't think I would have scored any higher than a 3, even if I did it without a pandemic on over my head. So I kept doing it, I did that, and I also took the second test, which is also called which is the Authentic Happiness Scale. Out of 1 to 5, I told you this, 2.29. This one, it's a generic set of questions. You've answered the questionnaire and you get a number out. After you figure out that, the next step was to figure out your signature strengths, because that's what you need to focus on during the first week. You focus on you rewire your brain to focus on your key strengths. Because if you keep working on what you are good at, you are eventually going to be rewarded by your own system for doing the things that you love the most, right? So they've given us a tool again to help us answer a few questions, and then it tells you what your signature strengths are. So in my top number 1 spot is, drum roll please, honesty. So honesty is number 1 on my top strengths. Number 2 is fairness. Number 3 is the love of learning. And number 4 is the appreciation of beauty and excellence. I think that's the part that touches the filmmaker side of me. 3, I'm already studying. They give me a break and this is what I do. Fairness and honesty, come on. Like, I hate lying, man. Jeez. How do people do it? Don't get it. I hate resumes because of this. Write a CV so that we can hire you. So you lie and lie and lie so you can get to the top of the pile only to just get a FaceTime interview. Like, the system is bugging. I'm telling you, I will change that in the new world after this COVID-19 nonsense. That's something, isn't it? Anyway, so you do that and you track your progress during the week. They give you these 7 circles for each day of the week. I don't know whether you guys can see it or not, and they're like, fill it however, shade in the circle, write a check mark, draw a smiley face, initial, or whatever you want, get creative. Ultimately, you will know what types of visual cues are best for you. So I put down smiley faces, different emojis to show how happy I was in utilizing my strengths, my top strengths. So this week I focused pretty much on honesty and fairness, right? So I focused on those 2 and I'm slowly learning to improve on that stuff. Now, this essentially is week 1 and that's all the course material there was, but having done those few questionnaires, I got really excited about getting to know a little bit about myself and what kind of personality I am, what kind of things that I love doing. So I went on the internet and I found another test, a really interesting one. It's called 16 Personalities, and I'll put links to all of this down in the description below because that's what we do up in the YouTube worlds. Ya feel? All right. I will pull up mine, which is, I got a personality type of protagonist, which is an ENFJ-T. So ENFJ-T stands for certain things in that test. And you'll understand, it's just a basic set of questions that you would answer on a rating scale. And by the end of it, it will tell you what kind of personality you are. And man, oh man, this one freaked me out. This one was so close, so freaking close to what I am and what I love doing. I'll just read the first 2 paragraphs, introduction. I'll just read the introduction here, right? Everything you do now ripples outwards. This is a quote. Everything you do right now ripples outwards and affects everyone. Your posture can shine your heart or transmit anxiety. Your breath can radiate love or muddy the room in depression. Your glance can awaken joy. Your words can inspire freedom. Your every act can open hearts and minds. David Deida, I hope I pronounce his name right. Protagonists are natural-born leaders, full of passion and charisma. Forming around 2% of the population, they are oftentimes our politicians, our coaches, and our teachers. I'm none of those. Damn it! I need to figure this one out, man. I need to fix this. Reaching out and inspiring others to achieve and to do good in the world. With a natural confidence that begets influence, protagonists take a great deal of pride and joy in guiding others to work together to improve themselves and their community. And you can read this on the site. 16personalities.com /ENFJ personality. Or just go to the .com site and you'll figure it out. Do the test. Let me know what you score down below. Oh, I can't believe I rhymed that. Well, it rhymed in... I'm not going to pretend like I actually knew what I was about to say. After I said it, I just realized it rhymed. Anyway, my point is, I'm really excited for the next 9 weeks. I've started week 2 now, and I'm studying all that stuff and learning how to do certain things. I also did a poll on my Facebook, and I wanted to sort of dive deeper into this this week's challenge, just this week's study, which is knowing is half the battle, which is the G.I. Joe fallacy. Just knowing doesn't really help. So I did a small test, and a lot of people freaked out. A few people freaked out because they were concerned about me, because I put up on Facebook, I asked a single question, and I said, have I ever come off as arrogant to you? Yes or no, down below. So on that Facebook post, I got 53 comments, right? And almost all of them were a no, except for a few that I could not count because they were jokes. They were making fun of it. But I enjoyed the jokes. That was funny. So then I wanted to know if people, because there was a certain level of, there was no privacy, there's no anonymity, so people would tend to, if they're my friends, and if they agree with it, they will agree with it. And they will become a sounding board, and everyone who agrees will agree with it. And then those who have the rare opinion that I am, in fact, arrogant, or come off as arrogant, they won't feel comfortable posting on there. So, I posted another one 24 hours later, and this time I posted it on straw poll. And my straw poll result comes up as, let's see now, I'll have to pull it up here, if I can find it. Come on, where is it? Show me this thing. 1 second. Yes, results. Results. Click that. Only 14 people had gone onto the straw poll, and they had voted 11 votes to no and 3 votes to yes. One of those votes on the yes was me. Just so I could push people in the right direction. So essentially 2 people voted yes, I am arrogant. And 11 people voted no. So this is interesting, and this also goes to show a little bit more about a few deeper aspects of the G.I. Joe fallacy, which is that not just knowing is half the problem, but it's also sometimes it's very hard to even get accurate information if you're asking from circles that are around you, because there is a level of groupthink that is involved. So I'm gonna keep doing stuff like this and keep testing out and just exploring more things and crunching data and looking at stuff and studying. I don't know. I'm loving it. It's feeling good right now. So, I only did those polls just for the shits and giggles of it. But I didn't have any purpose behind doing any of that. I just wanted to know, and I just wanted to sort of keep working on more data that I could get from that was relevant to the course. And what I got out of it was basically that groupthink is a big deal. So if you have a opinion and you voice it and you get a huge amount of comments agreeing with it, chances are there's an inherent level of groupthink. Someone who agrees with you or someone who knows you is agreeing with that. Whereas if you wanted an unbiased opinion, you've got to sort of pull away from groupthink and be ready to be corrected and get real information into your life. So I will update you guys next week on what's happening with this week's goals, if that even makes any sense to you. I'm not really sure if any of that makes sense, but thanks again for watching. I hope you guys are following the course. Again, it's free, so I'm not getting paid by these guys or anything. I'm not paid by Yale. I don't know Professor Laurie Santos. She's cool though. Really cool. So go and get on the course. Join me in this. I'm going to keep you guys updated about what's going on and what I'm studying and what I'm learning and all of that jazz. Stay safe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. See you later.